So the race vultures have already begun, haven't they? So there's a pattern. There's a pattern to this madness. It's black and white thinking. In fact, I probably believe, um, I take it on faith that they're using the literal black and white fallacy. A equals B, basically. They jump to conclusions, right? Well, there's plenty of evidence of this now where they're jumping to conclusions is exactly what they're doing. And we have a couple ways of proving this, which is pretty amazing. I want to start with a very special somebody that we all love and know. She's just an amazing person. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave that she shaved her head. It's great. Let's go with this person, right? Ayanna Pressley, Democrat, introduces presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren. Uh, Stunning and brave, definitely stunning and brave. She shaved her head. I think it's stunning and brave. I think I'll say that a few more times. They're calling for the lack out for an apparent lack of racial data that they say is needed to monitor and address disparities. So, any attempt to contain COVID 19 in the United States will have to address its potential spread to low income communities of color. So, fuck white people. First and foremost, to protect the lives of the people in those communities, but also to slow to spread the virus as a country as a whole. Yeah, so um, I got some footage. I got some footage of how fucking stupid some of these communities of color have been. Um, Dr. Jones. Most people have seen this clip already, but the one on CNN where they had the panel, crazy racist, um, someone complaining about there not being enough data for Latin people, like that's gonna fucking matter. And then the third one, when Jones actually made a really poignant point for once, which I was quite surprised. See, I have family and friends in New Orleans, and they told everybody to stay home. President came out and said, everybody stay home. Well, miraculously, amazingly, all these people that didn't stay home are also Democrats. You know, the 70-80% of the people of color community vote Democrat. So when president says, hey, you guys should stay home, they're like, fuck you, we ain't listening to the president. He's a racist bastard. Oh, guess what? Guess what happened? In Louisiana and in a few other places, New Orleans in particular that I heard of, because that's where the family's at, they went out and partied. Yeah. You wonder why it spread so quickly in these communities of color? Because they didn't give a fuck. They went out and partied. They went out and looted. They went out and had some good times. Bourbon Street was packed. People were getting drunk. The casinos were still packed before they shut down everything, like literally everything. They were out in the streets partying every night like they usually do. Like nothing was going on. Like they didn't give a care in the world. Um, Dr. Jones actually said something pretty interesting where he said they had the mentality that it's a white people thing. That's what he said. It's a white people thing. I was like, okay. It's a white people thing, is it? Um, Not so much anymore now, is it? Uh, but race baiters will race bait. So I'll leave a link in that description for that particular news article. But I wanted to skip to something else that's pretty evident of thinking. Fortunately for us, Majid is not too crazy. But this is what he had to say. Let's stop repeating the trope that COVID 19 does not discriminate. It does. No, it doesn't. People may discriminate. A virus isn't going to give a shit. A virus doesn't have a brain to determine I'm going to jump to this black person or brown person over the white guy because I just prefer it. I like their physiology more. Fact of the matter is, poor health behaviors lead to higher risk factors. You thought your overweight, fat shaming, body positivity, good idea shit was good for your, I don't know, immune system, since most of you become diabetic over that shit. Um, Speaking as a fat person myself, I'm like 40% body fat or some shit like that. Um, yeah, it's high risk. I also have asthma and allergies and other such nonsense. It's high risk. It is what it is. So, poor lifestyle choices lead to poor outcomes. Just saying. But anyways, the over 70s have a 68% death rate. Yes. Over 45, you start to deteriorate. That happens. So you would expect the elderly to die, unfortunately. Well, the universal healthcare bastion of the world, Italy, insured it, in fact. They're like, anybody over 60, you're fucked. You ain't getting help. Um, that was government order, by the way. And then everybody's seen the story, or at least some people have, that they found a nursing home full of people, all dead. And I don't even know if they did diagnose the reasons for the death other than neglect, because people just left the place and went home. They had a stay at home order in place. The nursing homes died. Good job. That's the exact appropriate way to do it. And yeah, that universal health care, the government run stuff. Well, the government's the one that made the decision. Now, didn't they? Now they get to decide who lives and who dies. And you guys voted for it, to be fair. You chose that. You chose that, Democratic Socialists. You voted that kind of behavior in. More men die than women. 61% in the UK. I think it's around 75% of men that get this shit die. But apparently, some people in parliament in other parts of the nation or country, rather, and a few here, still think it's a women's issue because they're the ones on the front lines. Yeah, we're dying. Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you. That's all I got to say to you feminists right now. Oh, it's disproportionately affecting women. Yeah, play that card some more. We're dying more. Fuck you. Death rate supersedes your poor petty excuse for choosing a profession that's heavily dominated by women because women care more, which is cool. Um, that's fine. We're seeking for women to take care of us, and I guess you're letting us die. Should we spin that into our sexist trope? Shall we? That's an easy spin, don't you think? Women's healthcare is dominated by women. Most women become doctors and nurses. More men are dying of coronavirus. Therefore, I'm going to use your same simple logic and say women are purposely allowing men to die from this virus. See how we could reverse that logic on you really, really quickly? Because I can just jump to fucking conclusions. 35% of the UK patients were non-white, triple that of the population. Okay, so this all may be true and dandy, but he continued. 14% of those with the most serious cases were in South Asian. Okay, some were black. Okay. Median age of those in critical condition was 61. Yes, I know. Government figures confirm cramped housing is a bigger problem for ethnic minorities. Whose fault is that? You guys all cramp yourselves in the same houses. This is a UK thing. I don't think it's so much down in the United States and a couple other countries. But y'all are small anyways, and then you immigrated a shit ton of people. So they all live in community family buildings and shit, right? Great idea. For a pandemic to kill you all. Great idea. So he continues to talk about the crowded conditions, people that work low income jobs, for whatever reason, lack of education, maybe lack of interest in doing things, don't have good English. I don't know. There could be a billion reasons, but all you really need to care about is the statistic itself. The speculation beyond that has no fucking merit, apparently. Young white women and children are the safest group. No, they're not. Children are dying of this too. Children get infected. They actually have a resilient immune system, which is pretty cool. So most of them survive. So that is true. Apparently, white women are the best. Yeah, that's what you want to take away from this. Doesn't matter that it's just killing people in general. The white women, the white women. So this is where he kind of goes and gets things right, even though he just cited a bunch of statistics that are just repulsive. Who fucking cares is my point. You want to talk if you want to talk about the statistics and how people are failing, you're failing yourselves. You're putting yourselves in that situation. No one else is forcing you to live this way. Let's get that clear. All right? No one forced you to do shit. No one forced New Orleans to go out and fucking party all night rather than staying the fuck home and not getting yourself sick. Because all you have to do is touch it, and then you guys saw me already. I'm wiping my eyes because I have goobers in my eyes. Sorry about that. I have allergies. I have year-round, constant fucking allergies. So I'm constantly doing this. Guess what? I'm also constantly washing my fucking hands, and I haven't left the house because my feet are broken. I freaking hyperextended. I got hyperextended one tendon, and then I twisted my other ankle. It's been great. I haven't been able to walk. So before we all got locked down and all this shit spread throughout Houston, where I'm living, I was already on lockdown. I didn't go anywhere. So the most I've been to is the grocery store, and even then, the only risk that I really had is some dumbass wiped a sanitizing wipe, or it said if I don't do it, I can't get into the store, and he wiped that shit down on there, and I had a freaking allergic reaction to it. My hands swelled up, my throat started swelling, started getting harder to breathe, and I get the regular antsy shit that comes with it. But anyways, back to Majid over here. Health is behind the age disparities. Yes, absolutely. Health deteriorates when you get older. That is correct. That is a good conclusion. I like that conclusion. It's 100% true. Unfortunate, but true. When you get older, your health declines. It's a part of aging. It really, really sucks. It really sucks. And my dad used to always say, it sucks getting old. I can understand that now. Of course, when he was my age, he also had a heart transplant. So there's always that. Biology is behind the gender disparities. No. High risk behavior is behind the gender disparities. I'm going to have to say men are kind of stupid. And men's health, I don't know that we actually have that much different an immune system between men and women. Of course, I'm not a biologist. You'd have to ask one to know that for certain. But there seems to be a component there. But, he is now being a sex xenophobe, transphobe, some shit like that, because he just mentioned biology is behind gender, not sex disparities, but gender disparities. So clearly that's transphobic. We can't handle Majid no more. He's just a bigot, apparently, or something like that. He's really not. Well, he has his racist moments, but at the same time, he dealt with a lot of racist shit being who he is, basically. Unfortunately, he's a good guy, but he's definitely got a mean streak. I've seen him pop an attitude. He has no problem laying it down. Let's just put it that way. Anyways, he'd be a good Trump. It'd be pretty cool. Anyways, as a result, the outcomes of this virus will be discriminatory. No, they won't. That is incorrect. They won't be discriminatory. They will be different. That doesn't make it discrimination. That's where you jump to conclusions. Middle class, don't be too preachy. Social distancing and self-isolation is a privilege. No, it's not. No, it fucking isn't. It's not a privilege when you choose to be in the position that you're in. So if you chose to live in an enclave with 50 people in the same housing block, that's on y'all, man. That nothing to do with anyone else.
Find the solution yourself.
Is that possible?
And this is what I have to say. This is what they do. They will take a statistic. They will skip out anything that has anything to do with context around that statistic. And they will go, racism. So them calling for racial data in the testing examples, or the death rates, or how many people died. Hell, CNN's panel just did that shit, right? We saw them do it. There's a 30% population, but there's 70% of the cases in New Orleans. Yeah, because those dumb motherfuckers went out and partied saying this is a white people problem. Racist. Racist is all fuck. That is. Absolutely. But, you know, you live your life, right? And you suffer the consequences of your own actions. Sure as hell wasn't anybody else forcing you guys to go out and party. It wasn't anybody that forced all those stupid kids that went out to spring break either. No one forced them to go out and party. Yet a bunch of them came home with it. Because they're stupid. Now, this virus is turning out not to be as bad as everyone hoped, I guess, in the liberal media. But they're really hoping for it to destroy Trump, I'm sure. Because they keep poking and prodding. The malaria medicine for lupus or whatever, that's a prime example. Oh my God, it's a controversial drug. No, it isn't. No, the fuck it isn't. FDA tested and approved, motherfuckers. It's not controversial unless you make it controversial. And the only reason it's controversial is because Trump said something. Really? That makes it controversial? It's not. Especially when doctors regulate and control the flow of that medicine. And pretty much most doctors now are saying, hey, it's showing some promise. Let's do this. And you take it because it's not going to actually kill you if properly controlled and regulated by a doctor. You know, that's a key thing. And lo and behold, the shit kind of works. At least alleviate the symptoms. It doesn't actually cure the problem, right? And the symptoms are what will expose you to higher risk and actually end up killing you. At any rate, this is the thought process. I want everybody to be clear on how they do this. The reason why they're asking for this data now is because they want to cry racism and victimhood in the future and then blame the healthcare system so they can turn around and say we need to dump more money, federal government, regulation, policy, whatever, into the healthcare system, making it even more expensive than it needs to be. Or they'll call for socialized medicine, which has worked well around the country. I don't care who, or country, excuse me, world. I don't care who argues the point. When your government decides, hey, over 60, you're fucked. No, I ain't playing those games, man. That's not up to the government to decide who lives and dies. Go fuck yourself, government. And for those with the stupid argument, well, you know, prison inmates, they execute them. Well, yeah, because they killed someone else, probably. You don't get in prison for being an innocent child. I mean, some get framed. I'm not going to lie. But, yeah. At any rate, I just thought I'd lay that down because, it's been rather interesting to listen to. This is the argument. We need racial data. Why? Because, no. You're jumping to conclusions. You don't need this data, do you? You want this data to keep your narrative, to keep your victim blaming, to keep your shame, your game up, your political agenda up. It infects fucking everyone. Get over yourselves. The only thing I don't think I'll let you live up to and live over is when the feminists say this freaking virus mostly affects women. Men are dying 3 times more than you. 3 out of 4 men will die. If you take a room of 10 men and women, 10 each, 3 of those women will die. 7 of those men will die. 3 men will survive. 7 women will survive. Go fuck yourself. We want to play that stupid ass numbers game. All right. Anyways, I thought I'd cover that a little bit. Show you why they're going to do this. It just calls initial, and no one's going to really pay attention. But that's the game they play. It's just like the underpants gnomes. Step 1, steal underpants. Step 2, step 3, profit. Step 1, gather racial statistical data. Step 2, go fuck yourself. Step 3, you're racist. That's the pattern. They will do this every time. The moment you get some racial data that supports their narrative, they're going to use that racial data to push their narrative. That's it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter behaviors. Doesn't matter self-inflicted injury, I guess you can call it, because you're killing yourself, basically. It doesn't matter about health risks that you put yourself into. No, you want to make it generational. What's the new word they're using now? It's generational. You can't call it systemic oppression or something like that. Or it's in the system. It's generational disenfranchisement, I think it was. Something like that. Disinvestment. That's the word I'm looking for. Whose the fuck fault is that? We're supposed to invest in your well-being? No. I'm going to invest in my kids' own well-being. Thank you very much. Just like every other father does before them. Or good fathers. Why isn't your family doing the same? You want to blame that on us too? Is that our fault that you guys decided to be a welfare nanny collective with 70% of, I think it's 60-70% of families are single moms living paycheck to paycheck, some of them 2-3 jobs, some of them living off of welfare. So you're basically married to the state, dependent on the state, just like a good socialist would be. Y'all put yourself in that situation. You had stable families 40, 50 years ago. What happened? Democratic Party maybe? The cash cow of victimhood? Anyways, I hope you liked this video. Please like, share, subscribe, because I'm going to start asking that. It's very annoying. I'd rather not, but it is what it is because, well, YouTube sucks. And I don't feel like branching out. Either I'll do this until they kick me off the platform. And after that, whatever. I just won't. Maybe I'll go back to podcasting, do an hour-long bitching session, because I've already gotten 22 minutes here. So I'll see you next time.
God damn you. Want to die?